Any initial thought?
Okay, so, you know, 43%, it said they didn't want to do PACE, right?
Was it?
You know, 43% people said they didn't want to do PACE. So, what if they are the one that's failing? And they want to go back to regular school? So what are we gonna do?
All right, so that's a legitimate question. What I want you to do is right now we've presented this plan, and if the thoughts are going to go towards that way, I'm going to ask that we're going to look at the questions that are on the back of your sheet, okay? Because right now that is something that's not going to necessarily take place, okay?
I know, but
And there's not, and at this point, what we're doing is we're having a productive conversation on what has been presented to you, not necessarily kind of looking at those type of questions, okay?
So a question that I would ask back, can I ask the question back?
Yeah, please.
Is what, like looking at this plan that's proposed, what about the types of support offered in this plan would help students to not be failing, you know, are better than the way it's currently structured? So that's not just for you, that's for anybody in the group, but like what is it about this plan? What is one thing or a couple of things that you see here that you think will help you be more successful, or maybe not even you, but like your friends, your peers? What will help students be more successful and like sort of keep them from failing in a way that's different than the current structure is set up? Anyone can answer that.
Can't really say them because it's on paper.
So what do you think?
Action.
Right, I agree with that, but what do you think would be more supportive about this plan?
Well, the smart time for one though, that I think that'd be good for us to go and get some extra help in our classes, because we really don't see all our teachers on a day-to-day basis like we want to.
Mm-hmm.
So that I think that'll work. But I don't know.
I thought Emmett, then Steve, and then Kenneth.
I don't think we should have the same team leader in our class. Let me go to the same place from 8 o'clock. Putting hours in the morning.
So, Kenneth, I'm going to, or Steve, I'm going to respond then. Kenneth, remember on the team time we're structuring it where we're going to have it be a little bit more work time, as well as we're going to focus in on some of our goals of getting ACT and college vocabulary with you guys. And then also, you're going to have experts within your team, so you're going to be utilizing your team a little bit more as a work time space of what, let's say you're very good at U.S. history, and we have a U.S. history test coming up, possibly within teams, you might lead a study group in teams the day of the test, okay? That'd be a good way to use your team time, okay? Okay.
Alicia just said smart time was good because we needed to see more of their teachers, but it's not a we, it's some people don't want to see teachers like when they need to. Some people want to have more flex time when they want to. Okay. You shouldn't be forced to go to a class.
All right, so what we're doing, I hope that you've recognized that we've opened up the pay space to those of you that have earned and gained that right to be in the pay space to be working. If you do have all your classes up to where they need to be, A's and B's, you have 80% in all your classes, then you are going to be able to use that flex time. We want you to prove that you're able to utilize the flex time appropriately. Okay, so it's not taken away completely. We're just asking you to kind of earn it to utilize that space. I see Emmett, Diamond. Diamond, is your hand up too? And then we'll go back to.
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
I think it's also important, like I know a lot of us like to continue to work on things that we're really good at. And like, I mean, I'm guilty of this too. Like, and pushing aside the things that we don't really like to do. So like the smart time, even if it's just one class you're struggling in, the smart time will really allow you to get where you need to be in that class by kind of realizing I got to sign up for this because I really need help in this, as opposed to I'm ahead of the rest of my classes, so I'm just going to go to the pay space because I don't really want to like focus on what I really am struggling at. So it kind of like helps us realize what our weaknesses are, and that like that's not a problem. We need to like fix that, like get on top of those things.
And before you start, Emmett, please keep on writing down your thoughts on the bottom of this reflection sheet, because if you guys, if we don't get to you, or you don't want to share it out loud, please write down on these sheets what you're going to do, because we're going to collect them at the end so we can take a look at them, okay? So please keep that in mind. Take it away.
All right, last year we had around like 90-some kids at the whole pace. So that way, like, you had options where you want to go. Like, so you can go to the red room or tourist or anything like that. This year we got like 150, 160 kids. So how do you all limit 40 kids in the main space when there's not that many rooms to divide 160 kids up, like not like 8 rooms? So how are you going to divide like 150 kids up and limit them 40 to the main space?
Are you asking, so during rotations in Smart Time, you won't be in the main space? For instance, if you have English for rotation 1, you'd be in this classroom, okay? If you had math for rotation 2, or you signed up for Mr. Patron during Smart Time, you'd go to the Eastern Michigan room. You wouldn't go into the main space and say, like, I'm working on math, not going to the main space. It's, I need help in math, or I want to work on math, I'm going to go to Mr. Patron in Eastern Michigan.
I'll just jump in just because we're in my room to use as an example. The other thing I'll say is that with the Smart Time in the room, that will look different than when you come to lecture. So it will still respect those of you who do like that independence, and maybe, Kenneth, I'm just using my class as an example, maybe you only have one question, right? You're working on your outline and you have a question about one section and the rest you feel pretty confident in. And you'll sign up so you know you get the time with me. I'm also gonna set up my room differently. So it's not like you're gonna come in and be seated all facing the board, right? Right now it's kind of set up like that because I see you for so little time. That's what we've been focusing on. But we'll change how the room is set up so that this room is nice and big. Maybe you wanna work at the couch, maybe you wanna be back in the library, okay? And we'll have the desk set up in a way so that it doesn't feel like when you're in the Smart Time, you've gotta listen to the teacher the whole time. You'll be able to put on your headphones if you need to and go into your work zone. And then when you have your question, you can ask me. If that makes sense. So it won't be totally, when you come to the Smart Time, like you're losing that, but we want to respect that there are more kids this year, and that having the Smart Time, everybody at the same time in the pace space, it's acknowledging that there's not enough spaces to choose from. So opening up more rooms will let you do that.
Okay, for a student like me, I'm only in pace for morning classes, and like a question was brought up earlier, what if we wanted to switch like our Smart Time when we work for our Smart Time? And basically we only get 15 minutes a day by this schedule to complete everything that we need to do. That's if we're with Ms. Benson. I feel like this might kind of handicap us more than now, because it's like you're saying we get a choice to sign up where we want to go, but if our grades aren't up to par, we still have to make a choice if we want to go between, you for teachers. So I'm not kind of understanding that, because you say we have a choice to sign up or not, but if our grades aren't up to par, we don't have a choice.
So I'll speak to that very quickly. The purpose of having you guys sign up during the Smart Time, if you don't have all your grades up to par, is that we're trying to put in a structure that allows you to recognize that and kind of forces you to sign up to that teacher or classroom that you need specific help in.
I'd also like to say I want to remind you that a lot of that team time is really work time. So like I know using you as an example, a lot of times you just stay in U of M and you get your work done, and you would pretty much do the same thing. Maybe I might use you a little bit more as an expert or a leader and kind of have a pull-out group that would focus on a certain subject. And the other thing is you have 4 or 5, even you who are only here in the morning, you would have 4 or 5 different Smart Times throughout the week. If we're here for a whole week, so that's 5 different times when you could meet with a teacher for extra help. So I mean, I don't know if you should feel so handcuffed, as you said, or your hands are tied. I think that you actually have more time to work than you might realize.
And you'll have more time in classes too. Like because the classes are extended, it won't just be like really quick, let me tell you what I need to tell you, and then you have to leave and do the assignment on your own, like personally. Like you'll be able to actually like complete your work in my class.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good point to bring up, and something we want to make sure in teams that we're very
Or anti-teach. Alright, so if we're done with initial thoughts, if you'd like, I'm kind of flipping over to the back and looking at the questions and seeing if you guys would like to share some of your questions or answers to your questions. I want to jump down to how would you specifically, or do you think your peers would be able to get invested into team time for you guys personally, and or you think your peers might help you? What would help you get invested into team time? If you want to share what you wrote, or if you have any thoughts about that. The one on the back. How would you get invested into team time? Or if you want to think about it, how would your peers get invested in team time?
I don't get it.
So right now in team time, it's kind of come in, you get your announcements, you grab your laptop, there's not really a sense of community. Right, there's not a sense of community within the teams, and we want to garner a sense of community for you guys to see that there can be people that are going to be helping you out within the teams when you're in their classroom, or wherever you may be for teams. Yeah.
It's not about that though, but like, what happened to the snack bar dude? What's it called?
It was private. Yeah,
The Starbucks? Like, what's about this?
it was type bomb.
Can we stick to we were on a tight timeline. We stick to the
So,
questions.
if you want, you can ask that at the.
You can talk to me about that.
How would you get invested into team time?
How would you want to, like, what things would you like to see in team time to, like, make you want to go to teams?
Alright, Demetrius, help.
I just had a quick thought, even though I just got here, that may be a suggestion. It would have to be to see more people get involved in team time. An individual or a couple of individuals will have to take that initiative on their own to realize, oh, well, this person is struggling, we should go help them. It shouldn't be where, oh, well, I'm doing good in my classes, my grades are well, so I'm just gonna lay back and smooth ride it on when you see this person failing. So really, it's gonna have to be the initiative within an individual or a group of people to step up to get the progress that you wanna see with team time.
I saw Diamond Hill, and then Diamond Moore, and then Ashley.
I mean, this is a coming from myself. You cannot make somebody work if they don't want to work. I'm not in team time to help you get your grades up. If you sitting on your phone, your headphones, and not listen to the teacher, I'm not going to help you waste my time. I got my own. I'm a 12th grader and I have to pass in time. I'm not going to help you if you don't want to pass.
Alright, you guys, I want to share thoughts, please. Alright, let's keep on, let's go with the people that raised their hand, please. Diamond Moore.
Okay, first thing, what I was initially gonna say was that right now we're just like, teams is just so rushed, so we're like, we get into teams, and then the teachers just rushing, like, we need to get this done, we need to make sure that's done. By the time we look up, there is no extra time left in certain teams. I think the team time will be more beneficial, but in the same breath, I understand people concerns about it taking time away from our work time, but maybe y'all can have like theme days. So maybe some days y'all just work on math, or y'all see your struggles in y'all teams, and then y'all focus on that.
Ashley? Alright, what I'm gonna say to your point real quick, Diamond Hill, is something that really helps you learn a content is if you're able to teach your content to someone new, that shows that you've really mastered a certain piece of content. So something to think about is when you are helping other people out with certain things, you're reteaching and learning it better. Alright, I saw, Steven, was your hand up? Or was that kind of?
Yeah.
Steven, and then yours up too, kind of? Alright, Steven, kind of.
Y'all still not listening. Y'all still not doing what certain students want. Y'all doing majority.